guys, today's video is all about feeling your affirmations, having emotion and some kind of internal feeling be created by looping your affirmations as you're saying them. Do you need to feel this? Is it important? I'm going to go over all of this in the video, so please thumbs up and subscribe and turn on that notification bell right below this video, right below the screen. It would mean a lot to me, and that way you can stay up to date and support the channel and just show me that you guys actually enjoy this content. So I do offer coaching as well. Anyone who isn't aware of this, any new viewers, I mention this pretty much every single video just because I do get a lot of new people watching. So I offer one-on-one coaching. It's all written currently, all written form coaching. I sell guides as well. A couple of things will be on screen that I offer now. All the information of prices and how to get in touch with me and how to book is on my Instagram page, LOA Coaching, which is linked below in the description box. So if you'd like that, please do go take a look, and let's get into this video. First point relating to and regarding feeling emotions as you are affirming. The answer is that emotions don't, well, not the answer because I didn't pose a question, but the response that I have to feeling your affirmations is that emotions don't even manifest. So that is the response to the question. Do you need to feel your affirmations? Do you need to get some kind of positive emotion as you're saying them? Is that going to help? Is it important? What if I feel anxious? What if I feel bad? That doesn't matter because your emotions do not manifest. Now, that is the basic principle of law of assumption, that it's your thoughts. Law of attraction is all based around vibration and emotion. So perhaps if you studied that, you are somehow still holding on to that and you can't right now fully comprehend it, or you haven't been able to move past those principles and what you've learned from there. But law of assumption is rather different in terms of it just relying on your mental strength, mental resilience, ability to loop the new story, focus on that, loop your affirmations regarding your desired outcome, and leave everything else as it is. Don't interfere with anything. Don't get into a high vibration. Don't feel your affirmations. If you do, that's fantastic. And usually what happens within the natural process is that as you're looping your affirmations, not necessarily straight away, you can do 10 minutes at a time, even 20 minutes at a time of the same affirmation and still feel really anxious or sad and still have all the old story thoughts coming up in your mind. That's totally normal and that's fine, because all that matters is what you are consciously looping in your mind, what you are telling yourself constantly, right? So whatever else comes into your mind is irrelevant. Usually what does happen is that after perhaps, sometimes like I said, there is no time frame. Like it can be within the first 10 minutes of you doing the affirmation. If it's not, that's totally normal, and that's usually what happens for people, that it takes maybe a day, maybe an hour, between like maybe an hour and a couple of weeks even. It depends how strong, if there's trauma attached, how strong your emotions are, how bad the negative old story might be. It can take a lot of time to let go of it, and that's fine because all it takes is persistence. If you persist in your affirmations, then you are guaranteed your manifestation. Now, that depends on the time. So if someone were to spend 5 hours a day affirming, and they're starting from a really bad story with bad assumptions, that is, they will get it much quicker than someone who only affirms for 10 minutes a day and they're also starting from a bad story, if that makes sense. So the time can vary for everyone, but usually within an hour, I'd say, to a couple of weeks, you do automatically start feeling better. As you're looping and looping, getting into that consistent practice, you'll start to feel the emotions. You might get a little bit of excitement building up in your chest. Your heart might start racing a little bit faster. You might start getting these lovely visuals that just make you feel really warm and loved, if it's about an SP, for example. So that can come up naturally, and if it doesn't, that's also okay, because you can go through your entire manifestation process feeling complete anxiety and worry, but not so much worry, but because that's more based around thoughts. But if you feel anxiety, sadness, you feel uneasy, you feel silly and confused, that is okay, because in terms of getting your desired result, you'll still get it. As long as you are affirming and on your mental diet and, thinking positively as best as you can, that's all that matters in terms of bringing in your manifestation. So although, there are loads of ways for you to release those negative emotions, you don't need to feel the positive ones to manifest. Emotions don't even directly correlate to your thoughts. So If you are feeling bad, it doesn't mean you're going to think negatively. Sometimes this will come up naturally. It's just human nature that if you're having a bad day and you're stressed, you might start thinking, oh, well, this is that, and this person told me this, and why is my life going so wrong? I have those days where I get into a pity party, a victim state of mind, and I start thinking about all the bad things and all the things that might have gone wrong, and how, you know, I was stuck in traffic and then a bill came in that I forgot I had. Like, these little things might come up, but I know at the end of the day, and even in that moment, that I can manifest a different result, and that it's just a temporary experience and temporary feeling, and that I know, you know, this is a bad day, but I'll wake up tomorrow feeling better, and I'll just let myself deal with these emotions as they are right now. But I also don't panic and think I've ruined my manifestation, because I know that the emotions have no correlation. I can feel that way, but then just start looping my affirmations and, you know, go on a little verbal rampage to pick myself up. And usually the bad emotions will subside as you do that. So there is no time frame for when you will feel better. Like I said, it could be immediately, within an hour, and within a couple of weeks, you know? So it depends on everyone, depends on the old story. So it can come about naturally for you, which is the only way you need to even be experiencing that. You don't need to force it. But at the same time, if you are feeling bad and worrying that it's going to affect your manifestation, even if you feel sad about your SP, you know, or your job, or how you look, whatever, it's not going to affect the manifestation. You just need to be consistent and persist with your affirmations. It does take repetition. I say this all the time. I have videos talking about how important repetition is, and that is how you manifest your desired outcome, the new recreated version of your reality, right? You need to see it in your mind. The repetition is you looping the thoughts, looping the visuals, and seeing that new reality in your mind, whether it's a really clear idea of exactly what you want, or just generally like me having a perfect life, you know? How would you go about it? You'd just be like in this, a feeling of utopia. You'd be so happy and relaxed and grateful. And again, I know those are emotions, and I'm not saying you have to feel that to manifest it, but that's how you would feel. So that's what you'd see in your mind. You'd see visuals and any kind of, even as vague as it might be in your mind, some form of concept where you are going through life in this really, really happy, fulfilled state, and all the things that bring that feeling for you, you can probably see in your visual in some form. So it's about repeating that new story, visually or verbally in your mind. And that's the repetition that matters. That's what you need to repeat and be consistent with every day, not the emotions. So again, in terms of affirming, robotic affirmations work. You can manifest, obviously, the affirmations, so they're always going to work. Unless the only thing that would stop your affirmations working is you only saying them maybe 3-4 times a day and expecting to see your manifestation come in, you know, within a week. It's not going to work that way if you have a negative old story. Obviously, if all you're manifesting is a cup of coffee, I'd say 99% of us have very, very little resistance to getting a free cup of coffee, because it could be a friend, your mum, it could be a coffee shop offering free samples. We wouldn't have resistance to that. So that obviously can be an instant manifestation, but I'm talking like getting back together with an SP, getting a promotion at work that you've never been offered before. Those sorts of things where there is a little bit more resistance, right? It does take a little bit more work, and robotically repeating your affirmations works. You don't need to be consciously focusing on them all the time. So you can literally, like in a very robotic, almost trance, like go about your day and just loop it. Say, SP loves me, SP loves me, SP loves me, SP loves me, because your mind is taking that in. Your mind doesn't have logic, so your subconscious brain isn't going to say, wait a minute, she's repeating this with no passion. She's saying it in such a bored way, which means it's not important, which means we're not going to take the information in. Like, it sounds really stupid what I'm saying right now, but that's literally the logic behind people who say, you have to do this with your affirmation, you have to do that. The only thing you have to do is loop it and have the result that you want in the affirmation wording. Technically, you can go through your entire manifestation just robotically, you know, just saying it in the most basic way, and you will get your desire. Personally, I always prefer adding in a little oomph and energy, and just, yeah, adding in a little bit more focus on it. That's just how I prefer to do it. But robotically affirming does work, so you can just loop it over and over. It does take time and repetition, like I said, because usually for our desires, we're starting from somewhere a little more negative. So You need to retrain your brain from scratch to believe in the new story. When it comes to visuals, so in terms of you feeling really bad, another reason why just the words alone without emotion work so well is because your subconscious mind will create a visual. I'm not entirely sure on the science behind this, and I don't want to give any incorrect facts here, but I do believe that the subconscious mind creates visuals on its own. So it converts everything into imagery, because I think everything that's stored in the subconscious is actually all in the form of visuals. So essentially, if you say SP loves me, your brain is going to store that as an image of your SP being in love with you, whether it's a memory, perhaps something connected to them that you've experienced. Perhaps they've told you, oh, you know, I want to cuddle you, I want to do this. Well, I don't know. They might have said something cute or romantic to you, and your subconscious mind will connect all those together and be like, well, here's an example. You know, this is SP loving me. So it already thinks in visuals, and oftentimes as you're looping and looping and looping, it will bring it up into your conscious mind as well. And that's a sign that you're starting to conform in your own mind, because you're getting those visuals naturally without consciously trying to conjure them up. So basically, to summarize, the words you're looping and saying with your affirmations are already being absorbed by the subconscious mind, regardless of how you're feeling, you know, regardless of any other circumstances or issues. If you consistently, it doesn't even matter if you're standing in front of your SP and you are looking at them with the third party. By the way, your third party doesn't exist, so don't think about them right now. But let's say that was the case, it doesn't matter, right? Even looking at that, if you maintain your mental diet, and as soon as you see that, you start going, no, SP is committed to me, SP is committed to me, SP loves me, SP chose me, SP wants me. You know, if you keep saying that, it doesn't matter what you're looking at, because your brain is taking in the words, the visuals, it's connecting to what you are telling it. Because you might be looking at something in front of you, you might be looking at the 3D reality that's negative, but 100 times over you've said, this is what's happening, this is what's happening. And that's what your subconscious mind has to take in. So even if you get upset and disappointed, it doesn't matter. Apologies for how dark it is right now. It started raining and it's really bad weather, but I don't have time later this week to film. So unfortunately, you know, hopefully the video is still okay quality. I've tried to readjust it a little bit closer to natural lighting. But anyway, let's continue. I'm on to my final point, which is that it's not meant to feel natural, right? So if it felt natural and you were like, of course he loves me, of course she wants to marry me, why wouldn't they? You know, if you had thoughts like that, well, you'd already be having tons of movement and probably have your manifestation and no negative story. Because if it was a natural thought to you and you felt normal saying that and thinking thoughts like that, you wouldn't have to manifest your SP. You wouldn't have to create whatever result it is you're trying to in any area of your life, because it would already be yours. It would already be an assumption that, oh, it's so realistic for SP to marry me. Of course, like everyone knows that SP is probably going to propose. You know, if you had thoughts like that, you'd be in the relationship. You'd probably have a really, really good current 3D reality. So it's not meant to feel natural. It doesn't need to feel normal or sane or logical or happy. You don't need to feel good saying your affirmations, especially not in the first couple of weeks when you're just trying to get out of that negative old story. You're creating that new story in your mind. It's almost like drawing on a blank canvas, to analogize it. You know, there's nothing there. You're starting from scratch. You have to put the work in and start with the first stroke, and then draw the lines and color everything in, paint it in, whatever you're doing, you know? It's like that. You have to lay down the foundation step by step, starting from scratch. And of course, your memories and thoughts are all based around the negative old story. So it doesn't need to feel natural. It doesn't need to feel positive and happy. So you can have those feelings for a while at least. I think if you're putting in the work, you will always start to feel better, maybe not 100% better, but the anxiety should subside after a while. And that's been my experience, even with things where it was horrible in the 3D, I did start to feel better and start to believe in it. And, you know, when it manifested as well. So most likely you will all start to feel better at some point if you persist and put the work in. So yeah, if you're feeling bad right now, remember that it's natural and normal. You don't need to feel happy and perfect, but you probably will start to feel that eventually. So I hope all of this advice and points made sense, helped you guys gain some clarity and reassurance. Please do thumbs up and subscribe and turn on the notification bell if you enjoyed, and I'll see you next time.